I didn't drink a lot, but when I did, I didn't really need some buzzkill to sit there and, cry next to me, waxing on and off again about his broken dreams. New York's filled to the brim with tales of heartbreak and guaranteed schemes that fell apart just before the payoff. It's a city that serves as a beacon to the mentally unstable and greedy alike, both of whom were once big fish in the little ponds of their hometowns. Now they're surrounded by bigger fish in a bigger pond. Nasty giant fish with a taste for blood. In the end, they're eaten alive by the unforgiving nature of the city. The waitress came back to my table with my drink, a double shot of Black Label Scotch, neat, no ice. I stared down into the placid amber liquor, peering into its depths as if Buddha would swim to the surface with a piece of life-saving wisdom just for me. Surprisingly, nothing happened, other than the soothing smell of the double malt wafting up to my nose. God, I need some fucking peace, I muttered. Words trailed off as my heartbeat slowed to a gentler pace. My nerves had just started to calm down as I lifted the heavy glass to my lips. The room was relatively quiet. The silence was perfect, dead like me, empty and void of sounds of the desperate bar people desperately trying to sound as if their lives had some meaning. There was no blah, 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 kill my buzz. The first slug of scotch went down, burning my throat with that acrid, warm feeling that hard liquor so wonderfully has. My shaking thoughts suddenly started to smooth out like a plane after it's flown through a turbulent patch of sky. I could breathe again, taking in the squalid barroom air with renewed faith. It was the perfect moment in time, one that could never be repeated, so I savored it with the enthusiasm of a man who discovers a $100 bill in an otherwise empty wallet. For that brief moment, all was well with the world. Everything was fine, as my wife would say, standing over there. The love of my life, she would say it was peachy. Suddenly, the silence was broken by the slamming of the tavern door. Looking up to see what idiot ruined my perfect moment, I saw him enter the bar. The worst possible sort to run into when you're out for a quiet evening of destroying your liver. Sammy the Gimp scanned the room looking for a familiar face he could extract a drink for $1 from. I quickly lowered my head, but not before his eyes met mine. Shit, I muttered. The fuck was this? My evening would now be spent. Is that your cue to shut up?
Not yet, I'll let you know.
Okay. Hit me with something. My evening would now be spent trying to get rid of Sammy. I looked back knowing his scummy little junky grin would be beaming in my direction. Sure enough, his scrawny little limpy wrist was waving at me. No point in putting off the inevitable. I nodded, which was the universal gesture among junkies to come on over and fuck up my day. Sammy was one of those old-time junkies that had the word loser etched into his forehead from years of failed schemes, broken promises, and too much time on Rikers